No, I have to take off this cap because so that I can be seen properly and be much more visible. Not like, no, it's this cap. But it's a relevant cap in terms of what we were going to talk about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Comrade Nolu Babalo, being volunteered to assist us in terms of this process. And want to also acknowledge the president of Manda Ashu Workers Union of South Africa, which I'm a volunteer of. I'm a volunteer of Mausa, a union that organizes workers, community workers, and workers that are organized under the expanded public works program. And I want to also acknowledge the leadership that is here. I don't know if they was mentioned in my name. The former Treasurer General of Mkonto with Season, Mzima Gubane, is with us here. The Comrade Masaba as well from KwaZulu Natal, the provincial organizer of Mkonto with Season, the former provincial convener of Mpumalanga, who convened before elections pro cause, not those who came after elections in terms of the work. And members of the media and the people of South Africa, we send our revolutionary greetings to all the people of South Africa and black people in the African continent and in the African diaspora. We have called this press conference to speak about some of the recent political developments as it relates to the roles that we're playing in control season. That on the 3rd of June 2025, the leadership of Control Season, after national officials meeting, announced the discontinuation of my role as the Secretary General of Control Season. And when the appointment of the announcement was made, there was an indication that would be redeployed to the National Assembly to form part of the parliamentary caucus of Control Season. The principle established in the public announcement was that no leader and no member of Control Season should speak about the reasons why the decision was taken. But it appears that there are those who are talking freely and in most instances almost distorting just what transpired. So, as a disciplined member of Control Season, I want to put on record as to what were the reasons that were given the national officials for my redeployment. The reason given in the national officials for my deployment or removal as Secretary General was that I want to overthrow President Zuma as the president of the country. That is what I say. That all the work that we're doing as Secretary General of establishing structures, identifying leaders was meant to ultimately the removal of President Zuma as president of Control Season. And as part of that reason, an extremely bizarre and fake intelligence report was produced, which was claimed to be a conversation between me and some people in the African continent, where it is alleged that despite raising money to remove President Zuma, I'm also accumulating supernatural powers to make people disappear. That is the reason why we got to, so we had to deal with superstitious issues as the basis of what happens, that there's apparently a head which was going to be given to give to someone, and some people were going to die so that I can become president of Mkondo Wesizwe. That was the intelligence report which were rejected with contempt and said that that is absolute rubbish. Said that if anyone claims to have my WhatsApp conversations, I can hand over my phone. I even offered in the meeting that take my phone and check not only the messages that you claim were about the removal of President Zuma, also check any other message about anything that I communicate as a leader of Mkondo Wesizwe. Because there's a principle which I always uphold, that there is nothing that I do privately that I cannot own up publicly. Nothing. Including personal relations. There's nothing that I will ever do privately which you cannot own up publicly. And the accepted the redeployment to parliament with those misgivings that we're going to make people disappear in order to take over the leadership of Mkondo Wesizwe. In a subsequent meeting posted that another fake report was presented which claims to be WhatsApp conversations between me and someone else. I'm reported to be saying that, yeah, I'm going to use parliament now to take over the party. And I've got money from Stellenbosch who are going to take over the party through parliament. They are taking me closer to where we're going to take power. And as a result, a decision was taken which was not yet communicated. Even this thing of parliament must not happen. In fact, former Secretary General, which is myself, must be expelled from the organization. A letter was written and was put in the briefcase of the president, who said that he's going to dispatch it as and when he feels like to discontinue my membership of Mkondo Wesizwe. Those are actual facts in terms of the reason. And where does this come from? So the president of Mkondo Wesizwe, whom I dearly and so deeply respect, is surrounded by political scoundrels who opportunistically use his kindness, sometimes gullibility that comes with age, to write down fake intelligence report, to influence him towards wrong directions. And the reason they do that is because they want to steal money of Mkondo Wesizwe. And they are doing so now. Withdrawal of not less than 7 million rand every month from the organizational coffers. That is what divided, and that is what, and we were talking about this because we raised it internally that stop what you are doing, because you're going to get the party deregistered as a political party. Because there is no sound reason on what has been happening, and it's things that we can continue reasonable doubt. Not because it's things that we can change. And it's things that we cannot fake. And for that reason, when we raise every TG who has ever raised that got to be removed as leadership of Mkondo Wesizwe. And there's no TG who has resigned as Mkondo Wesizwe. All of them were removed to then deal with a scoundrel who surround President Zuma to steal money of the organization. I carried my responsibilities as a leader of Mkondo Wesizwe with utmost respect and respected everyone. Led with the process of drafting the constitution and other foundational documents of the organization. Set up structure as part of a collective effort. Got to institutionalize the MK Women's League, the Youth League, the Students' Movement, the MK Interreligious Movement, which in the past used to exist as separate organizations of the South African Interfaith Religious Council, MK Religious Desk, Abela Piben Babuko, and various other organizations, interfaith, and then got to unite them to have one organization. We got to even have to formalize the relations between Mkondo Wesizwe and the Progressive Civic Congress. Formalize the relationship with MK and MK professionals, MK medics. It's a lot of commendable work which was done by MK medics, a group of medical doctors and health practitioners who will go into communities to offer healthcare services. And in the process of doing that, every day, the political scoundrels work endlessly to speak negatively about the work that we're doing. I was saying, actually, I said it in the national officials meeting because we can't hold that meeting in private, even when people are talking now. That in December 2024, there was a statement written to remove me as the Secretary General on the basis that I'm about to announce a political party with Tokyo Zupale and Newz, whom I have never spoken to about anything. Draft statement that was even shared with me. Remove him today because he is going to form a political party. And that is full-time work that is dedicated on everything. When you sit down, it's a problem. When you stand up, it's a problem. When you go out, it's a problem. When you come in, it's a problem every day. Because those who surround him have got evil intentions in terms of what to happen. I've got tremendous respect for President Zuma. I think that in the few close working relationships that we've got to maintain and work with now, I think I've learned more in the 6 months than I learned in the 10 years of the EFF. I learned more as a member of Umkhonto Sizwe than I learned as the deputy president of the EFF. In terms of real politics and appreciation of both the domestic and the global politics, much more thorough in terms of the issues. And under no circumstances would I ever fault President Zuma and his politics. I joined Umkhonto Sizwe because I thought that as part of the political historiography of South Africa, his politics and character should be protected and a legacy built around his proper politics, not the ones of gullibility and the producing of fake intelligence. Since the decision to remove ourselves as Secretary General took place, there have been a lot of ordinary South Africans from all corners of the country. There have been a lot of comrades who came from Umkhonto Sizwe, from the ANC, from the EFF to say, what then do we do moving forward? Because I did explain to them what were the developments. And a substantial number of those say that don't ever try to join the ANC, and I fully agree with them. That will never join the ANC. It's directionless, doesn't know what it's doing. It's in collaboration with the white system now. And there are those who say don't ever join or rejoin the economic freedom fighters because it's a cult. I agree with them. There's no space for sound ideological reasoning. There's no self-respecting person who can join both the ANC and the EFF. I agree with that fully. And there are those who say that there's fundamental weaknesses with Umkhonto Sizwe, that the organization seems to be run by a family and seems to be inconsistent on issues of discipline, seems to be directionless and sometimes takes conservative and reactionary positions. I'd say that part of the reasons why we joined Umkhonto Sizwe, we could observe from further, can allow in South Africa a political organization that can become a tribalist and regional organization with such influence. Instead of throwing insults at MK, we have to play a role in contributing to its ideological character and politics and direction. And I think that we did successfully in terms of what happened. Now, there's several observations about the organization of Umkhonto Sizwe. Some are correct, some I will reserve my observations on because I can't abuse the fact that I occupied a very senior role and had access to almost every development that happens. But those who want to hear my views privately, we can speak about that. But I'll never abuse the fact that there's a role that we played. I did that when I left the EFF. I said I'll never speak bad about the EFF when I was MP, and I never did. And I'll never speak bad about the MK. I'll never demonize its perspective.